Have you ever noticed that the brighter your light shines, the more opposition you seem to face? It feels like, the more you step into your divine calling, the more people turn against you. But what if I told you that this is no accident? That your light, your unique purpose, is so powerful that it stirs something deep within others, something that often looks like hate and jealousy. Today, we're diving into a spiritual truth that many of you have experienced but may not fully understand. Why do people hate and envy chosen ones? If you've been feeling misunderstood, rejected, or surrounded by those who seem to resent your growth, this message is for you. You see, being a chosen one means you carry a divine light within you. That light represents God's favor, your unique purpose, and a powerful spiritual presence. But that same light can also expose the insecurities, fears, and unhealed parts of others, leading to envy and hatred. The rejection and hate you face aren't a reflection of your worth, but a reflection of how your light challenges the darkness around you. Jesus himself said in John 15 verse 18, "If the world hates you, remember it hated me first." This is not a new struggle, it's one every chosen one faces. Throughout the Bible, those set apart by God faced persecution, jealousy, and misunderstanding, but it was all part of their divine journey. If you've been asking, why do they hate me for being different? Or, why am I always a target? Stay with me. We're about to uncover the deep, spiritual reasons behind this resistance, and more importantly, how you can rise above it. Before we get into it, I want you to take a step of faith. If you're ready to embrace your identity as a chosen one and push past the hate, comment "I am chosen" below. Let's declare this together, because the more we embrace our light, the more we fulfill our divine purpose. Being a chosen one means you are set apart, not by the standards of this world, but by the divine calling placed on your life. You are marked with a purpose that transcends the ordinary, and because of that, your journey will be different. Just as God called out the prophets, kings, and disciples in the Bible, He has also chosen you for something significant. When we think of a chosen one, we often look to figures like Jesus, Joseph, or David, men whose lives were marked by favor, but also by trials, rejection, and spiritual battles. They weren't chosen because they were perfect or even the most qualified by human standards. They were chosen because God saw something within them that aligned with His divine plan. You, too, carry this spiritual mark of being set apart. Your unique gifts, your spiritual insights, and even your struggles are all part of that calling. As a chosen one, you carry a divine light within you. This light is not something you can hide or suppress, it's the essence of who you are, and it shines in everything you do. This light is the favor of God, the calling on your life, and the purpose you've been given. It draws others to you, but it also disrupts the darkness around you. In John 8 verse 12, Jesus said, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." As chosen ones, we carry this light, and with it comes both blessings and challenges. Just like a lighthouse, your light guides those who are seeking, but it also exposes the shadows in others, shadows they may not want to face. In today's world, being a chosen one can feel isolating. It's not just about fulfilling a religious role or being seen as spiritually superior. Instead, it's about walking a path that is different, often misunderstood, and sometimes even rejected by the people closest to you. You might not fit in at your job, in social circles, or even in your family, because your vision is different, your heart is aligned with a higher calling. You may have noticed that people are drawn to you for advice, comfort, or spiritual insight. This is not by accident. People sense that you are connected to something greater, and they often come to you because of that light. But while some are drawn, others are repelled, and this can be confusing. Just like Joseph in the Bible, who was hated by his brothers for his dreams, or David, who was pursued by King Saul, rejection often accompanies the journey of a chosen one. People may resent the way God's favor shows up in your life. They might not understand why you seem to have a peace, a purpose, or a resilience that they can't explain. It's important to remember that the rejection you face isn't about you personally, it's about the light you carry. Your light exposes the insecurities, the fears, and the darkness that others might be avoiding in their own lives. And that makes them uncomfortable. Just as Jesus was rejected by his hometown, and even by those he loved, you will also face this kind of resistance. Despite the rejection, the loneliness, or the confusion, being chosen is a gift and a responsibility. God has marked you for greatness, and while the journey may be difficult, you are not walking it alone. His light within you will continue to shine, no matter how others react. You were not chosen to fit in, you were chosen to stand out. Embrace that truth, because it is the foundation of your calling. In Matthew 5 verses 14 to 16, Jesus says, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." You, chosen one, are called to shine, even when it's hard. You are set apart for a reason, and your light has the power to transform not just your life, but the lives of those around you. Never forget that your light is divine, and no matter who resists it, God's purpose for you cannot be stopped. When you carry the light of a chosen one, it can feel both empowering and challenging. The light within you is divine, it's a beacon of hope, purpose, and spiritual clarity. But just as it attracts those who are seeking truth and healing, it can also provoke negative reactions from others. You may wonder, why does my light stir up so much hate and jealousy? The truth is, the light you carry has the power to reveal what others might be trying to hide, and that revelation is often met with resistance. People who harbor darkness within them, whether it's insecurity, fear, jealousy, or unresolved pain, can feel threatened by your light. They may not even understand why they dislike or reject you, but the reaction is often deeply spiritual. Your light shines a mirror on their soul, and what they see reflected back may not be what they're ready to face. It's like standing in front of a bright light after being in the dark for so long. It's uncomfortable, it's blinding, and it forces them to confront the parts of themselves they've been avoiding. Jealousy often arises when people sense the favor and blessings of God in your life. They might see how you carry yourself with peace, how doors open for you, or how you seem to rise above challenges. To them, it can feel unfair. Why are you, the chosen one, receiving these blessings? What they don't see is the price of being chosen, the trials, the spiritual battles, and the moments of isolation. All they see is the light you radiate, and it triggers envy. Instead of looking inward to understand their own journey, they project their insecurities onto you, masking them as jealousy, bitterness, or even hatred. The spiritual discomfort you create in others is often beyond their understanding. They sense something different about you, something that doesn't conform to the world's standards. The more you step into your purpose, the more people may try to pull you back down. They might criticize, gossip, or try to diminish your light because your presence reminds them of the path they've neglected or the potential they haven't pursued. It's easier for them to blame you than to reflect on their own lives. Jesus himself faced this kind of opposition. He was the ultimate light, walking in perfect alignment with his Father's will, and yet he was hated, misunderstood, and rejected by many. In John 15 verse 18, he said, "If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first." This truth still holds today for all chosen ones. The light you carry is a reflection of the divine, and the world, being in darkness, will often resist that light. Hatred toward chosen ones is also a form of spiritual warfare. When you carry divine light, you become a target not only for the negative emotions of others but also for spiritual forces that want to dim your light. The enemy knows that if you fully step into your calling, you have the power to shift atmospheres, bring healing, and influence others to walk in their own purpose. This is why you often find yourself facing not just opposition from people but also unexplained challenges, setbacks, or spiritual attacks. It's not a coincidence, it's an attempt to derail you from your divine mission. In the Bible, Joseph is a prime example of this. His brothers hated him because of the dreams God had given him. They were so consumed by jealousy that they sold him into slavery, thinking they could extinguish the favor on his life. But what they didn't understand was that Joseph's light was divinely protected. No matter what they did, they couldn't change the fact that Joseph was chosen by God. And just like Joseph, the hate and jealousy you face cannot stop the favor and calling on your life. In fact, it often serves to push you further into your destiny. What's important to remember is that the hate you experience isn't personal. It's not about you as an individual, it's about the light you carry. When people feel uncomfortable around you, when they gossip or try to tear you down, it's because they're reacting to the divine light shining through you. Your presence disrupts the status quo, and that disruption either draws people closer or pushes them away. Those who are open to healing and growth will be drawn to your light, but those who are resistant will be repelled by it. This is why it's so crucial to stay grounded in your identity as a chosen one. You cannot allow the opinions or reactions of others to define you. Their hate is not a reflection of your worth or your purpose, it's a reflection of their own struggles and unhealed wounds. As a chosen one, you must rise above the negativity, knowing that your light is a gift, and it's meant to shine regardless of how others perceive it. It's also essential to guard your heart and protect your spirit. While the hate and jealousy you encounter are often unavoidable, you have the power to choose how you respond. Jesus teaches us to respond to hate with love, to bless those who curse us, and to pray for those who persecute us. This doesn't mean you allow people to mistreat you or stay in toxic environments, but it does mean that you operate from a place of love and grace. When you respond with love, you disarm the enemy's attempts to bring you down. The more you grow into your calling, the more opposition you will face, but the more strength you will gain. Every rejection, every hateful comment, every jealous glance is a confirmation that you are walking in your purpose. It's a reminder that your light is powerful, and it's making an impact, whether others acknowledge it or not. The hate and jealousy you attract are part of the chosen one's journey. It's not easy, but it's necessary. It's refining you, strengthening you, and drawing you closer to God. Remember that the light you carry is divine, and no amount of hate or jealousy can extinguish what God has placed within you. You were chosen for a reason, and your light will continue to shine, transforming not only your life but the lives of those around you. Rejection is something every chosen one faces. It comes in many forms, whether it's being misunderstood by friends, isolated in social circles, or outright opposed by people who cannot accept your calling. But as painful as rejection can be, it serves a greater purpose in your spiritual journey. What if I told you that rejection is not something to fear or resent, but something to embrace? It's a part of God's divine process, and when seen through the right lens, rejection can be a tool for growth, transformation, and preparation for the greater things that are coming. One of the key reasons chosen ones face rejection is that they are not meant to fit in. From the moment God marks you for a divine purpose, you are set apart. And being set apart means walking a different path than the people around you. You carry a light that often disrupts the status quo, and this makes others uncomfortable. The rejection you experience isn't just a random occurrence, it's a result of the fact that you're not of this world, and you're walking in alignment with a higher calling. In John 15 verse 19, Jesus reminds us, if you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. That is why the world hates you. Rejection is a sign that you are chosen, that you do not conform to the ways of the world, and that your purpose is much greater than what this world can offer. The very fact that people turn away from you, or that circumstances seem to push you out, is a confirmation that God is redirecting you to something far more significant. But let's be real, rejection hurts. It stings to be misunderstood, judged, or cast aside. However, the rejection you face as a chosen one is often less about the people rejecting you and more about God's plan for your life. When you face closed doors, it's not a punishment, it's divine protection. God is keeping you from spaces and relationships that are not aligned with your purpose. He is guiding you away from things that would distract, derail, or diminish your calling. Think of Joseph in the Bible. His brothers rejected him, sold him into slavery, and thought they had rid themselves of him forever. But what seemed like rejection was really God's plan to position Joseph for a greater purpose. Through every hardship, Joseph's rejection was part of the journey that led him to becoming a ruler in Egypt. Had his brothers accepted him, Joseph might never have fulfilled his divine destiny. What appeared to be abandonment was, in fact, alignment. When you face rejection, it's important to ask yourself, what is God trying to teach me in this season? Often, rejection is a period of preparation. God uses the solitude and isolation that comes with rejection to refine you, to develop the character and strength needed for the next phase of your journey. In the wilderness, where you may feel alone and cast aside, God is molding you, equipping you, and sharpening your spiritual discernment. This is where your faith deepens, where you learn to depend on God rather than the approval of others. Remember the story of David. Before he became king, David was rejected by King Saul and spent years in hiding. But during that time of rejection, David's faith grew stronger, and his relationship with God became deeper. His rejection was the very thing that prepared him for the throne. In the same way, your rejection is preparing you for the greatness that is ahead. Rejection also serves to strip away the distractions that might hinder you from walking fully in your purpose. Often, we find ourselves clinging to people, situations, or places that are not aligned with God's plan for us. We seek validation and approval from others, thinking that it will affirm our calling. But God's approval is the only validation you need. When rejection comes, it's often God's way of removing the things that are not meant for you, clearing the path so that you can focus fully on your divine mission. As a chosen one, rejection can also serve as a test of your resilience. It's easy to walk in faith when everything is going smoothly, but when you're faced with opposition, misunderstandings, or outright hate, that's when your true spiritual strength is revealed. Will you allow rejection to make you bitter, or will you allow it to build your character? Will you turn away from your purpose, or will you press on, trusting that God's plan is greater than the opinions of others? In Romans 8 verse 28, we are reminded that all things work together for the good of those who love God, who have been called according to his purpose. Even rejection works for your good. It redirects you, refines you, and releases you from the things that no longer serve you. Every no is a step closer to the yes that God has waiting for you. Every closed door is leading you to the open one that aligns perfectly with your purpose. Rejection as a chosen one serves as a reminder that your calling is not dependent on human validation. People may reject you, but God has already accepted you. Your identity is not defined by the opinions of others, but by the one who called you. In Isaiah 41 verses 9 to 10, God says, I have chosen you and have not rejected you. So do not fear, for I am with you, do not be dismayed, for I am your God. Even in the midst of rejection, you are not alone. God's hand is on your life, guiding you every step of the way. So the next time you face rejection, don't see it as a setback, see it as a setup for something greater. Understand that you are being prepared for a higher calling, a divine purpose that requires you to stand apart. Rejection is not the end of your journey, it's a stepping stone to the next level of your destiny. Trust that God's plan for your life is greater than any rejection you may face, and that every closed door is leading you closer to your true purpose as a chosen one. As a chosen one, staying strong when you are hated and rejected is essential to walking fully in your divine calling. The journey is not easy, but with the right mindset and spiritual tools, you can rise above the negativity and thrive in your purpose. The hatred and rejection you face are not reflections of your worth, but signs of the power and light you carry. So, how do you stay strong when it feels like the world is against you? The first step is to fully embrace your identity as a chosen one. God chose you for a reason. You are not an accident, and your calling is not a mistake. When you understand that your identity is rooted in divine purpose, the opinions of others lose their power over you. People may reject you, but God has already accepted you. This truth becomes a shield against the hate and rejection you experience. In Isaiah 43 verse 1, God says, "I have called you by name, you are mine." No amount of rejection can change that. You belong to God, and your worth is found in Him alone. Next, it's important to remember that hate and rejection often stem from other people's unresolved issues, not from anything you've done wrong. Your light exposes the darkness within them, and instead of addressing their own pain, they project it onto you. When people hate you for being a chosen one, it's often because your presence challenges them. It forces them to confront the parts of themselves they've been avoiding. Understanding this helps you to take their reactions less personally. You realize that their negativity is not about you, it's about what they see in you. It's also crucial to surround yourself with spiritual protection. Being a chosen one makes you a target, not just for people's negativity but for spiritual attacks. Prayer is your greatest weapon in this battle. When you pray, you strengthen your spirit and build a wall of protection around yourself. Ephesians 6 verse 11 reminds us to put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. This armor includes prayer, faith, and the Word of God, which fortify your spirit against the attacks of the enemy. Stay connected to God through prayer, and ask Him to guard your heart and mind in every season of rejection. Another way to stay strong is by practicing discernment in your relationships. Not everyone deserves access to your life. As a chosen one, you must be wise about who you allow into your inner circle. Surround yourself with people who support your growth, who understand your calling, and who lift you up when the weight of rejection feels heavy. Proverbs 13 verse 20 says, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." It's okay to distance yourself from toxic people and situations that drain your spirit. Your peace and spiritual well-being are far more valuable than trying to gain acceptance from those who were never meant to walk with you. Forgiveness is another powerful tool in staying strong. When people reject or hate you, it's easy to become bitter or resentful. But holding on to that bitterness only dims your light. Jesus teaches us to love our enemies and pray for those who persecute us, Matthew 5 verse 44. This doesn't mean allowing people to mistreat you, but it does mean releasing the hurt they've caused you. When you forgive, you free yourself from the burden of bitterness and keep your heart pure. Forgiveness is not about excusing their behavior, it's about protecting your own peace. Staying grounded in gratitude also helps you stay strong. Instead of focusing on the negativity or rejection, shift your perspective to all the blessings God has placed in your life. Gratitude shifts your energy from what's lacking to what's abundant. When you focus on the positive, the power of hate and rejection over your spirit diminishes. Thank God for the lessons you've learned through rejection, for the strength you've gained, and for the ways He is preparing you for greater things. Philippians 4 verses 6 to 7 says, Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Gratitude brings peace, and peace strengthens you to continue walking boldly in your calling. Finally, stay focused on the bigger picture. The hate and rejection you experience are part of the process of becoming who God has called you to be. Every struggle is refining you, every rejection is preparing you, and every moment of loneliness is drawing you closer to God. Keep your eyes on the mission ahead of you. Romans 8 verse 28 reminds us that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Even the rejection, even the hate, it's all working together for your good. Staying strong when people hate and reject you requires a mindset rooted in faith and purpose. Embrace your identity as a chosen one, understand the source of their negativity, protect your spirit through prayer, and surround yourself with people who uplift you. Choose forgiveness over bitterness, gratitude over resentment, and focus on the divine mission ahead of you. When you do these things, you'll find that no amount of hate or rejection can dim the light that God has placed inside you. Your purpose is far greater than the opinions of others, and your light was meant to shine. Keep shining, chosen one. God's plan for you will not be stopped by anything or anyone. In this journey as a chosen one, rejection, hatred, and jealousy will often be part of the path. But take heart, these challenges are not signs of failure, but of your divine purpose shining through. Your light, the one God has placed within you, will always disrupt the darkness around you. People may resist it, but that's because they see something in you that challenges their comfort. But remember this, their hate cannot dim your light, and their rejection cannot cancel your calling. God has already accepted you, chosen you, and set you apart for greatness. You are not here by accident. Every trial, every moment of rejection, is shaping you for the greater things ahead. Like Joseph, like David, like Jesus, rejection is part of your story, but it's not the end of it. It's the preparation for the breakthrough, the refining for the blessing, and the setup for the destiny that God has in store for you. So keep shining, chosen one. Stay rooted in prayer, surround yourself with those who uplift you, and hold on to the truth that God's favor on your life cannot be shaken by anyone's opinion. You were born for this, and no amount of hate or rejection can stop the plans that God has for you. If this message resonates with you, declare it boldly in the comments below by typing, "My light will not be dimmed." Let that be your affirmation today and every day moving forward. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel to continue walking this chosen path with us. Together, we rise stronger. Stay blessed, chosen one.